Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gora Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. I forgot where I am. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Excuse me because I'm totally confused now. Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Excuse me. I'm thinking about the lecture. I'm so bad. I had to stay on focus of what I'm doing. Thank you so much. I would like to kind of dedicate this class a little bit to my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. He is in Dallas. He's been there for the past couple of weeks. He's going through some health issues. So, so I would like to dedicate this class to him. It's by his mercy that I have been connected to the Parampara. And I am very grateful for that. And so I would like to dedicate this class to him. If there's anything that I say in this class that's, anything of worth, it's because of his mercy. Anything I say that's off track, it's my craziness. Okay. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranjeva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana, to the supermost human being, Naranarayana Rishi, to the Goddess of Learning, Mother Saraswati, and to the author, Srila Vyasadeva. By regular attendance of Bhagavatam class and rendering service unto a pure devotee, devotional service unto the Supreme Lord is established and is an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so we are on Canto 10, Chapter 1, we're actually on verse 32, but the last thing we left off was at 28. So, should I just read the translations? Okay. Together, so 29 and 30? Okay. Some time ago, Vasudeva, who belonged to the demigod family or to the Sura dynasty, married Devakī. After the marriage, he mounted his chariot to return home with his newly married wife. Kaṁsa, the son of King Ugrasena, in order to please his sister Devakī on the occasion of her marriage, took charge of the reins of the horses and became the chariot driver. He was surrounded by hundreds of golden chariots. Okay. So just read the last 32? Just 32 in Sanskrit? Okay. So just read 32 itself, second verse only. Okay. Dasinam Sukumarinam Dve Shate Samalankrute Duhitre Devakaha Pradad Yane Duhitr Vatsalaha Dasinam Sukamarinam Dveshate Samalankrute Duhitre Devaka Pradad Yane Duhitra Vatsalaha Dasinam Sukamarinam Dveshate Samalankrute Duhitre Devaka Pradad Yane Duhitra Vatsalaha Dasinam Sukamarinam Dveshate Samalankrute Duhitre Devaka Pradad Yane Duhitra Vatsalaha Dasimam Sukamarinam Dveshate Samalankrute Duhitre Devaka Pradad Yane Duhitra Vatsalaha Dasinam Sukamarinam Dveshate Samalankrite Duhitre Devaka Pradad Yane Duhitra Vatsalaha. Dasinam Sukamarinam Dveshate Samalankrute Duhitre Devaka Pradad Yane Duhitra Vatsalaha. Anybody online?
Dasinam Sukamarinam
Dasinam Sukamarinam
Dveshate Samalankrite
Dveshate Samalankrite
Duhitre Devaka Pradad
Duhike Devaka Pradad
Yane Duhitri Vatsalaha
Yane Duhitra Vatsalaha. Okay, so that was my question. Okay, Dasinam, of maidservants. Sukumarinam, very young and beautiful unmarried girls. Dve, two. Sate, 100. Samalankrute, fully decorated with ornaments. Duhitre, unto his daughter. Devakaha, King Devaka. Pradat, gave as a gift. Yane, while going away. Duhitra Vatsalaha, who was very fond of his daughter Devakī. Translation. Devaki's father, King Devaka, was very much affectionate to his daughter. Therefore, while she and her husband were leaving home, he gave her a dowry of 100 elephants, nicely decorated with golden garlands. He also gave 10,000 horses, 1,800 chariots, and 200 very beautiful young maidservants, fully decorated with ornaments. Purport. The system of giving a dowry to one's daughter has existed in Vedic civilization for a very long time. Even today, following the same system, a father who has money will give his daughter an opulent dowry. A daughter would never inherit the property of her father, and therefore an affectionate father, during the marriage of his daughter, would give her as much as possible. A dowry, therefore, is never illegal according to the Vedic system. Here, of course, the gift offered as a dowry by Devaka to Devakī was not ordinary. Because Devaka was a king, he gave a dowry quite suitable to his royal position. Even an ordinary man, especially a high-class brahmana, kshatriya, or vaishya, is supposed to give his daughter a liberal dowry. Immediately after the marriage, the daughter goes to her husband's house and it is also a custom for the brother of the bride to accompany his sister and brother-in-law to exhibit affection for her. This system was followed by Kaṁsa. These are all old customs in the society of Varnashrama Dharma, which is now wrongly designated as Hindu. These long-standing customs are nicely described here. Let's do the translation first. Devaki's father, please repeat. Devaki's father, King Devaka, was very much affectionate to his daughter. Therefore, while she and her husband were leaving home, he gave her a dowry of 400 elephants, nicely decorated with golden garlands. He also gave her 10,000 horses, 1,800 chariots, and 200 very beautiful young maidservants, fully decorated with ornaments. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapatakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganavita Shri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarupyascha Krupa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Interesting purport. So, looking at this purport, I was, wondering, take these glasses, I can't see. What is important for me here? What is relevant for me here? What can I speak about? So the first thing I decided to do was, interestingly enough, both the dowry system and the Varnashrama system, both according to Srila Prabhupada, Vedic traditions set up by Lord Sri Krishna for the benefit of humanity. And yet both of them have been abused and misused. So I wanted to first, you guys are going to have to help me because I'm going to ask you to read some of the purports that I've picked out, which I think are very, very relevant here. The first one, of course, is Chaturvaryam Mayasrishtam, right? The 413 of the Bhagavad Gita. So Govardhan Prabhu, can you just read the translation of that? 413 of the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, can we have the microphone? Oh, yeah. So you can read the purport. Yeah, purport of that. My eyes are so bad, I have cataracts, and so I can't see anything properly. So you guys are going to help me. Just read the translation. Not the whole purport, just the translation at this point.
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
So it was created by Krishna. The purpose of the Varnashrama. So I started thinking about all the different ways we use Varnashrama. For example, we have Varnashrama Dharma, then we have Devi Varnashrama. Then we have this understanding of, as devotees, we utilize whatever we have, whatever propensities we have, for Krishna's service. And that through devotional service itself, we attain that kind of perfected Varnashrama Dharma. So although all the societies, Srila Prabhupada explains in many of the, maybe that purport and other purports, that all societies are naturally in these four divisions. Okay, you have your intelligentsia, or your priests, or those that are, the literate class. Then you have your ruling class, and also those that are warriors, military, that sort of thing. And then you have your mercantile class, and then your laborer class. So we have, blue collar workers, white collar workers. We have the whole thing. We have that system even now in the United States. In any society, Srila Prabhupada explains, this is what is naturally there. But it has been, for us, this Hindu or this Vedic tradition, which some people call as Hindu, and has come down to the caste system, has been obviously degraded to a large extent. And why? Because people are abusing the system. Now the question is, the two things that I'm thinking. In the middle of that translation, actually, let's go to verse Canto 1, 2nd chapter, verse 13. And Srila Prabhupada, can somebody read that purport? Who's there? Mukunda Prabhu, are you there? Mukunda Sharan Prabhu?
Yeah, I can go there. What is it again?
1, 2, 13. And I'm there too, so I'll tell you what you can read the translation. Go ahead and read the translation, yeah.
O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation, according to caste divisions and orders of life, is to please the personality of Godhead.
Okay, now this is a purport that I would like us to read. So Naveen, can you read a little bit? And then I guess I actually want to go through reading this. Each person can have a chance. Just say pass and move it to the next person, because I think this purport is very, very important.
Human society all over the world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders of life. The 4 castes are the intelligent caste, the martial caste, the productive caste, and the laborer caste. These castes are classified in terms of one's work and qualification, and not by birth. Then again, there are 4 orders of life, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired, and the devotional life. In the best interest of human society, there must be such divisions of life. Otherwise, no social institution can grow in a healthy state. And in each and every one of the above-mentioned divisions of life, the aim must be to please the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. This institutional function of human society is known as the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which is quite natural for the civilized life.
Okay, you can stop there for a second. So, as Srila Prabhupada is explaining that this is necessary in order for civilized life to happen. Actually, in the translation that the verse that Govardhan Prabhu was reading, I think I remember there's a line in there that says that human civilization begins at Varnashrama system. That up to that point, it's just animal society, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So it's only when you have these rules and regulations in place, but according to your guna and karma, according to your personality and the work you're interested in. It should not be an artificial thing, which is what has been happening now. You're born in this caste, in this class, and this is what you are. And that's not what Krishna wants. What's interesting in this is, now, let me go to the other side. Now, talking about the dowry system. So, in the dowry system, this dowry was not given, originally was not given to the husband's family. This was the daughter's wealth. In other words, this was her nest egg. This was her something for her protection in case she needed it. So that was the original intention of this. And actually, it's called Matrudhanam, no. But whatever, and that, so for example, if my father had given me anything for my dowry, then whatever I keep, whatever I have, that passes down to my daughter. It does not go to the husband's family. So that was the original tradition. But of course, as we know now it's become like a barter system, or I don't know what it's called, a highest bidder, whoever gets the most money gets the group. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, it's become very, obviously totally abused. Corrupted, yes, corrupted. Thank you, that was what I was saying. It's totally corrupted. Now, again, these systems were put in place. Why? And I, like I said, I was trying to figure out how is this connected to me. Now, remember I was talking about in the beginning, I always connect this, how Krishna's process was varnashrama dharma, that you slowly progress to the, eventually do your duty. If you followed, if it was, how does it? So Krishna put that in place. It was very systematic. You would do gradual development, okay? Now I want you to read this verse. Who else wants to read? Anybody? 4:24-29. This in the prayers, Shiva's song to the Prachetas. And in that purport, so I'm talking, so why this was pertinent to me was I can exactly see where this would have been, if I had realized this more, what the process really entailed. I was always thinking, you eventually, you do, you let's say you start at a Vaishya stage of, eventually in your next birth, you do good and all this kind, you come up to Kshatriya stage, you do good, you come up to the Brahmana stage, you do good, and eventually you become, Krishna conscious. And no, look at what the Varnashrama process actually is. Can somebody read the translation, the purport to that? Yes. No.
I have it now.
Yeah.
A person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. And if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. Now this is Lord Shiva praying. It's interesting. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of this material world. Purport. This verse gives an idea of the highest perfection of the evolutionary process. As described by the Vaishnava poet Jayadev Goswami, Pralayapado Jale Jatavana Sivedam. Let us begin tracing the evolutionary process from the point of devastation, pralaya, when the whole universe is filled with water. At that time there are many fishes and other aquatics, and from these aquatics evolve creepers, trees, etc. From these insects and reptiles evolve, and from them birds, beasts, and then human beings, and finally civilized human beings. Now, the civilized human being is at a junction where he can make further evolutionary progress in spiritual life. Here it is stated, Swadharma Nishta, that when a living entity comes to a civilized form of life, there must be Swadharma, social divisions according to one's work and qualifications. This is indicated by Bhagavad Gita 4.13, Chaturvanya Maya Srishtam. According to the Guna Karma for Bhagasha, according to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. In civilized human society, there must be the divisions of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and everyone must properly execute his occupational duty in accordance with his division. Here it is described, Swadharma Nishta, that it does not matter whether one is a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. If one sticks to his position and properly executes his particular duty, he is considered a civilized human being. Otherwise, he is no better than an animal. It is also mentioned herein that whoever executes his occupational duty, Swadharma, for 100 births, for instance, if a Brahman continues to act as a Brahmana, becomes eligible for promotion to Brahmaloka, the planet where Lord Brahma lives. There is also a planet called Shivaloka, or Sadashivaloka, which is situated in a marginal position between the spiritual and material worlds. If, after being situated in Brahmaloka, one becomes more qualified, he is promoted to Sadashivaloka. Similarly, when one becomes even more qualified, he can attain the Vaikuntha Lokas. The Vaikuntha Lokas are targets for everyone, even the demigods, and they can be attained by a devotee who has no desire for material benefit. As indicated in Bhagavad Gita 8:16, one does not escape material miseries even if he is elevated to Brahmaloka, Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartanojana. Similarly, one is not very safe even if he is promoted to Shiva Loka, because the planet of Shiva Loka is marginal. However, if one attains Vaikuntha Loka, he attains the highest perfection of life and the end of the evolutionary process. Mamupejet koton kreya puna janma navijite. In other words, it is confirmed herein that a person in human society who has developed consciousness must take to Krishna consciousnness in order to be promoted to Vaikuntha Loka or Krishna Loka immediately after leaving the body. Jakva deham puna janma naiti mameti sorjana. Gita 4:9. Excuse me. A devotee who is fully in Krishna consciousness, who is not attracted by any other loka or planet, including Brahma Loka and Shiva Loka, is immediately transferred to Krishna Loka, Mameti. That is the highest perfection of life and the perfection of the evolutionary process.
Okay. Did you see that whole process? That you following the Varnashram system? And I was thinking, and this is why I thought it was pertaining to me, because to tell you the truth, I did not think that I needed to get initiated before I got initiated. I thought I'm a good person. I'm following my dharma. I'm doing what I need to do. Then eventually, I will go to Krishna Loka, or by Vaikuntha Loka or something. I'd be fine. But the process, look at this process. 100 births perfectly performing the duties of a Brahmin. Are you kidding me? We can't even perform our 16 rounds one day. I mean, and so if you think about this whole process, how much mercy have we been given that we, just by dovetailing our propensities in Krishna consciousness, by chanting Hare Krishna and doing these under the guidance of our spiritual master, we've got the fast track. So it makes you think all this stuff that's put in place. Now, why would Krishna put it in place? Because he created this material world for a purpose. And so there's a system put in place for that purpose. Now the question, and what is that purpose? To eventually realize who we are, to follow the rules and regulations and get there. Now, possibly during Satya Yuga, people were probably in a better state of mind that they could do this process and probably get to where we want to go. But as time goes on, as this Kali Yuga comes in, it becomes more and more degraded. Then these kind of systems also become degraded. Next question that needs to be asked is, why would he create a system that could be degraded? Krishna could make the perfect place, right? Well, we're not supposed to stay here. If he made this the perfect place, we would never leave the playground and go home. Right? So he has to realize, he tells you those who are intelligent and, probably born in Satya Yuga, who are intelligent and more focused, like me, they probably can do this process and go quickly. But in this age, for us who are here, somebody like me who's, in a million places at once in her brain, it's very difficult to be so focused and do all this Varnashrama system, perform your prescribed duties so religiously, traditionally, and focusedly. So understanding this, number one, we've got to get out of here. And so he says, first of all, Krishna says in a nice way, here's a process, follow and get out of here. Then when he realized, okay, some of these people aren't learning, okay? They're not learning, tough love. You guys have heard of tough love, right? Your mom will tell you, you should do this, it's good for you, And then you're like, oh, yeah. And of course the good child will say, okay, Mom, yeah, I'll do that. And then you have the one that says, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this and do that. What does the mom do? She tries to tell him, right, very nicely. She tries to bribe him. There's so many different ways. And finally she gets, the hammer's got to come down, and she's got to be, she's got to be tough. And so Krishna's saying, this place is difficult. You got to get out of here. But at the same time, because he's that loving parent, he says, but you know what? Because he can't stand it that we're here. No matter who all are there with Krishna now, he's always missing the ones that aren't there. Just like a parent. No matter if all your kids are around you, the one that doesn't show up, you're always thinking, why didn't they show up? It reminds me of when I was getting initiated. I had asked my children to come. You guys know I have 4 children, so I'd asked them to come. And 3 of them showed up, and 1 didn't. And as I'm walking into the temple room, and I'm thinking in my head, I said, oh my God, why didn't Krishna, why didn't he come? He didn't come. He didn't. And I'm thinking this, as I walk in, my Guru Maharaj is saying, remember, you cannot force your children to choose Krishna. And I was thinking this in my head, and I'm walking into the temple. As I walk into the temple, this is what I said. I just almost just, I was just shocked for a minute, and I said, okay, Guru Maharaj, okay, I hear you. So just like that, but we're always thinking about that person. Krishna is always thinking about us, thinking, why isn't he coming? What can I do? And that's why he comes down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, with all the other internal reasons, but basically for that Mahamantra to give us the fast track and say, hey, listen, I want you home. You don't want to follow that process. I know it's too difficult for you. Listen, I'm going to give you an easy way. Just do this. Do this. I'm always thinking, it's like this Varnashrama system, when I was thinking about this, like I said, didn't think I was going to I needed to get initiated because of this process. And then I realized I can't get out of here by my own good activities and following my dharma. I can't do it. It's a rigged system. It's like, what I was thinking of, have you guys heard of indentured servants? Do you know what indentured servants are? So indentured servants, in the olden days, people who would go to the New World or some of New World or some other countries, they would sign on under somebody and say, I will be your servant. You pay my way across to the new land, and I will pay you back by serving you for so many years until my debt is paid. But the thing was, it was rigged, because what happened is they would come over on the ship or whatever, on the ship, yes, and come over on the ship and they'd, start serving. But then they would start dinging with like, well, I gave you food, I gave you shelter, so this is going to cost you rent, food, room, and boarding. That's just going to make it even. Then you got to pay me for this and you got to pay me for that. Well, you need new clothes because your clothes are ripped and I'm going to pay. So all these things, they would ding you with these little expenses. So you never got out. So that's what it kind of feels like. If you follow that process, unless you can, be very, very perfect, but it's kind of a rigged system. That's what I was feeling. It's like, what, the house always wins? It's a gamble. This material world is a gamble. The house always wins. You can't get out. It's rigged. So my point, so all of this I've told you, to come to the main point, the system is put in place. You can follow it. That's what Krishna has given us. But it's rigged. We can't do it on our own. Let's take the easy way out. Let's take the elevator. Let's not take the stairs. It's like taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Are you making any progress? It's so difficult. So it's really, really important that we understand the blessing that we've been given, the mercy that we've been given by this process of Krishna consciousness, the easy way. Just chant and dance and be happy. Just eat prasadam. The more you do that, understanding, I think for me, it's that whole gratitude when I realized where I could have been, and like I said, being a good person, not hurting anybody, but I still couldn't get out of this system on my own, efforts, that I really needed the help of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, all the Guru Maharajas who come and who entice us to come and chant, read the books, get the understanding. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Any questions, comments? This was just, like I said, going through purports and trying to understand why is this important to me. And for me, that's what it reminded me of, that it was, I would not have been here if not the mercy of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Even being born in India, living a sattvic life, because the problem, because of the problem even of being in the mode of goodness, is that you can become complacent. And that's where I was. That's where I realized I was when I thought, oh, I need to get initiated. I'm okay. But then at a certain point, obviously some intelligence sticked up. Something my dad said must have stuck in my head, because I realized, okay, I need a guru. I need more direction. And my Guru Maharaj was there and connected me. And now I have complete confidence that if I just follow the process, if I just do what he asks me to do, and if I share, the more I share with people, the reason why I like to give class is because the more I share, the more I have to study. The more I have to study, then it makes it more relevant to me, and I can relish it more. And then it's like it feeds on itself. You teach somebody, you learn something, that gives something back, and you keep going. And it's a system that keeps feeding itself. That's the perfect system. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments? I don't know if I was all over the place. If you guys followed my thought process, I tend to be a little scatterbrained sometimes. I'm sorry. Yes, David.
Well, one thing that keeps coming back to my mind is there seems to be some kind of, I don't want to say contradiction, but a paradox. Those who remember, Srila Prabhupada's last year, say, he was emphasizing Varnashram in a major way. He wanted to go to Gita Nagari at one point. I don't think he made it, but to make sure that the process of Varnashram was established. And he said, this is the one thing, my failure, I haven't yet established Varnashram. That's famous, Right. And I was, later on, when I read the Antya Leela, I think it's Lord Chaitanya's conversation with Ramananda Roy. Mm-hmm. And, Ramananda Roy, Lord Chaitanya takes the position of the disciple or the questioner. Ramananda Roy is reluctant. He said, well, how can I do this? He said, keep a nati shudnika. Whether it was a Brahmin, a sannyasi, or even a Shudra, which is he was acting at socially as if you know the science of bhakti, you can be a guru. So he took that role. And one of the things that he mentioned, you remember, he would say, oh, this like this, and said, yeah, that's external, go on. It's external. So if I recall correctly, I may be wrong about this, one of the verses he chanted was this one from the Vishnu Purana, which is famous, Varnashramachatadada Purushena Pamakponan Vishnurarajate Pantananya Tatoshikaranam. That the process of Varnashram for Purushena Pamakponan, one can attain Vishnu and worship Vishnu via that Varnashram. This is the Vishnu Nana Tatoshikaram. There's no other way of pleasing the Lord, So this is one of the ones that Lord just said, well, that's nice, but it's external. Go on, And finally, he even got to Sarva Nambudachajani, said that's external. Go on. So, but when he got to the prayer of Brahma, the first prayer of Brahma in the 14th chapter, and if you recognize it, he said, oh, this is good. And that was Gyane Priyasamanda Pasyanamanteheva Jivandi Samagridambariyadat, that give up all the difficult process of knowledge, cultivating spiritual knowledge. Simply hear from a realized soul and serve those vibrations with your body, mind, and words. And in this way, you can conquer the unconquerable Lord. This is the whole thing. Yes, that's very good. Now go on. And he went into all the rasas and everything. So, in one sense, Prabhupada was, and as he says in that purport, this is the civilization begins with Varnashram, and so it's necessary. But it seems like, and sometimes, well, it's impossible today to establish in Kali Yuga, really establish Varnashram. But he wanted us to have little models of it, I think, especially the farms. He was kind of. So, but in another way, it says, but really, Krishna consciousness is beyond Varnashram, and that's proved by Lord Chaitanya. Whether they're Shudras or Chandalas, anyone can chant, and Ahobadashra Pachotagari, and So in one sense, Varnashram, I take it as an important management tool. You find out what propensities they have. We don't.
Yes.
I remember when I was a kid in grade school and high school, and I took more than one aptitude test to see what. So in a sense, that's a nice way of organizing a Christian conscious establishment. But it in itself is not the essence of how you're going to go back together.
Right, and that's the thing. See, in any kind of society, for example, ISKCON, there are going to be those designations. Naturally, you'll have people who like to study and who like to preach, do all that kind of stuff. Then you have people who just wants to, I just want to work in the garden, or I just want to do these things. So, or just sweep. I just want to do dishes, or I want to cook, or there's these natural divisions that are already there. So when Srila Prabhupada was saying we need to establish Varnashrama Dharma, I don't see it as this artificial kind of system that we just kind of say, okay, these are the 4 classes and this is what we're going to do, and put that like that. It's not that. I think it's just like a natural metamorphosis, a change that happens naturally. But the main goal of that Varnash, established Varnashrama by Sri Krishna was ultimately to understand Vishnu Krishna, right? That was the whole goal. Same thing for Srila Prabhupada, I believe, is that yes, Varnashrama, meaning that we should have some rules and regulations about how people are doing different kinds of things, different orders. And it's, like you said, a managerial tool. But the goal of that one also is Krishna. Right? We can't focus on Varnashrama and take Krishna out of it. You know what I mean? And that's what happens, I think, sometimes, is that we focus so much about the managerial process and trying to get it all right within ISKCON that we forget the heart of the matter, which is Krishna. So I think it's, what, putting the cart before the horse sort of thing, or maybe that's not even the right analogy, but, excuse me, but understanding it as a whole picture, as basically using and identifying what propensities each person has, what skills they have, and having them dovetail in that. And then you'll have, we have some preachers, we have some book distributors, we got people who give class, we got preachers. Just like in the temple, we need all these different people for a temple to run, right? If you think of a temple as a company, you have to have all those kind of things. You got to have the managerial staff, but they're just there. That's just happens to be how they're broken down. But ultimately, the main understanding that we need to understand is whatever system you put in place, if the goal has to be Krishna, if the goal is not Krishna, doesn't matter how perfect that organization is, it's going to fall apart because there's no heart in it.
Someone maybe can help me, but in those famous verses in the 2nd chapter, beginning Savai Pungsang Paradharma, there's a statement about Varnashrama. Svanasthitasya dharmasya sangsade haritoshanam.
Yes.
The perfection of it is satisfying Hari. If he's in the center, then the Varna and Ashram make sense. Right. And we should always remember the Varna doesn't make any sense without the Ashram.
Yes.
That's the whole idea. That's where the spiritual advancement makes.
And speaking of, sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you very much. So thank you very much, Dravida Prabhu and Manaji, for your excellent class. I just wanted to make one point that Krishna doesn't need us to perform Varnashram Dharma. He doesn't need us to do anything. And if we don't do any of that, he doesn't feel sorry. So Krishna is eternally blissful. We need him. We need to perform devotional service. We need to perform Varnashram Dharma to organize ourselves properly. But Krishna isn't in need of any of that. He put us in illusion because we wanted it. But he's with us all the time. The whole experience will be over in the snap of a fingers in eternal time. So we think it's a very significant thing. To Krishna, he's not sad. He's not missing us. We don't perform devotional service because we feel sorry for Krishna. We're losers in illusion, and we want to rejoin the party, and Krishna has extended an invitation. And that's it.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nicely put, yeah.
Did you say we're losers in illusion? That's a great phrase.
Your next poem, Prabhu.
I'll put it in a poem.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Doubt? What is it? You don't believe? What is it? I don't know. What is it? I don't even know what the words are. Discussion? No.
I'm sorry, I don't want to talk anything, but one of the comment. This whole thing of, because you were talking about how I mentioned in the verse about the dowry and so by the Western understanding, Kaṁsa and Devakī were not sisters and brother, sister and brother. They were cousins. But because of the social thing in which the cousins were, and that's why you have cousin brothers, with the Yarus and the
well, I'll explain that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So this is the way it works. Since how do I say this? If the mother for the child, the mother's sisters are also considered mothers. Okay, so the mother and the mother's sister are all considered mothers. So their kids are considered brother and sister. On the father's side, the father and all his brothers are considered fathers. And they are considered, and so their children are considered, brothers and sisters. Now, the father's sister their kids are not considered brothers and sisters. Do you understand what I'm saying? So does that make sense? I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. And I think it has to do something with blood, and the same thing on the other side. Either way you look at it, if it's a male and a female, siblings, their kids are cousins. But if it's same-sex siblings, their kids are considered brother and sister. And so that's why you'll have, for example, Arjuna married Subhadra, because they are not considered brother and sister. So anyway, that's a whole bit different thing. But anyway, so there is and I think it has to do something with blood and afenal cousins versus something else. I'm not a biologist, I don't know, but somebody who does that can say. So that's what it is. Yes. And also the other thing I want to say, you were speaking about killing the maternal uncle. Also, in traditional families, the maternal uncle is considered very, very important. There's a very close responsibility and a bond between the maternal uncle and the nephew. The mother's brother and the nephew. So that's why Krishna killing Kaṁsa was even more like horrendous, because, oh my God, that's his manama. Manama means maternal uncle. So there's a very close relationship. And it's funny because you'll see that my grandkids with my son, meaning my daughter's kids with my son, there's a kind of relationship that's kind of very, very special. Yeah, so, Naveen, you had a question?
I just had a question about, like, in this verse, like, it's mentioning, like, maidservants, and, like, I guess I was wondering because, like, one common criticism I guess I've heard is about, like, most religions is that they, like, women are treated like property or something like that, like the man owns the wife or something, or that kind of thing. But then I was thinking, like, Prabhupada, like, in Bhagavad Gita mentions, like, they should be, that women are more like children, that they should be, like, protected, and they're not like slaves, basically. But then I guess I was thinking, like, with this verse, or like when there are, like, hundreds of maidservants that are kind of being given as a dowry, I guess how would we, like, I guess, like, if somebody were to say, this is kind of like they're like property, like they're given from one person to another, that kind of thing.
Okay, so this is just my thoughts. Okay, so because I obviously think about this too. So one of the things I'm thinking about is that the parents want their girls to be protected and supported. So one thing is, this was, it was a kingdom ruling class. These are all her friends. Like, she'll have maidservants and stuff that will be serving her. So they will go with her to kind of be in service to her. So that's what I'm thinking, one thing. Now they give her 100. Why not give her just 4 or 5? Maybe there's that many women around, the girls around there that need to be protected, and they give them that many. I can't say for sure. But, the idea there is that they have protection. they'll have support. They're not going to be, abused out usually, but, they're not going to be just left unprotected. Because when the parents are gone, who's going to take care of the daughters, right, if they're not married? So I guess this might have been one of the ways for them to be protected. Now, do you say, well, then the king has relations with all these women? Well, that's also part of that. But if he does, they're still protected. The daughter, if they have any children, they're all, protected in that system. Is it perfect? I mean, it was then. I have no real idea of how it worked. For me, it's just an interesting fact. Okay, very nice. That's how it was done. And that also could be abused, like any system. That's about all I can say about it now. Obviously, it would not be relevant for us in this day and age because we wouldn't be doing that. We wouldn't give. Well, we don't give dowries anyway, but, nobody gives maidservants as dowries, as far as I know. So, yeah.
One comment on that. I'm sorry, and this is the last thing I'll say this morning. Sometimes, with these maidservants, because they're not going to have their own husbands, at least until, So, and Prabhupada, he would mention in that regard, and also the polygamy regard, that, well, since, the population of women is always greater than men in society. Yeah. But that's not true today, because horribly, it's easy for them to find out the gender of the women electronically. I forget what they call it, and so there's a lot of abortion, of female fetuses, and the result is that I think it's in China. One of those countries, there aren't enough ladies. They can't get married. There's not enough.
Yeah. Well, it's illegal in India to do sex checking by amniocentesis. They don't allow it. That's why, yeah. Yeah, some areas it's pretty bad. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All gracious Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.